So, when we last left off, we were going up the mountain. So, with that being said here, I want to go ahead and comment a little bit on, with regards to some of the topic that recently just came out with Chan Thorpe. Apparently, he made a video with regards to how it is that a certain person doesn't really know what the hell they're talking about, in a sense. But I wanted to sort of talk about how it is that the actors sort of change in the MCU stuff. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't really notice any of that. And the fact of the matter is that since they have Kang going around here and doing their whole shtick.
Sindri's Skyway card is still down there, if you don't feel like climbing.
Yeah, there's no reason why we have to climb right now. Good point. But yeah, anyways, we could go and say that Kang is sort of fucking with the timelines. I like that explanation, sort of a retcon, if you would. But I'll be perfectly honest, it always didn't really sit well with me about how the fact that Rhodes is actor, or rather, I guess you could say, War Machine's actor ended up getting replaced like right in the next movie, just like that, for no reason. No one really knows.
Father,
no one knows. No one asks.
Do you think I could carry
no
her
one
now?
cares.
No.
But
I said no.
Okay. So who do you think carved the face in the mountain?
You would know better than I.
Thanks.
Now watch your step. Carelessness will only delay us.
Right.
Yeah. So it's kind of
There's
a
the Black
wonder.
Prophet then. What do we do now?
We see if the witch was right.
It's kind of a wonder as to how it is that happened and why it isn't being. Like, for example, why the fuck did Tony's dad's actor, change 3 fucking times? Like, what's up with that? I never noticed that until, like, it was pointed out to me in there. Like, what the fuck?
It's working. She was.
I guess I'll have to look. I guess I'll have
Come,
to go through.
let us finish
the
this.
entire series just to make sure I can spot shit like that. So I don't know. Anyways, let's go and talk a little bit about He-Man, shall we? So it seems like, at the very least, since He-Man sort of came out, there's been a lot of hubbub and quite a bit of a problem that people have with this series. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit more lenient than a lot of other people here, but I will say that it is kind of a shame that He-Man wasn't in the series, but He-Man wasn't exactly like the best of characters. All the good kind of pointed out how it is. Like Adam himself was actually a lot more of a character in the sense of like his effort to be
Then we
seen
climb.
as competent in comparison to his personality as a He-Man. So but He-Man himself wasn't all that like he had a very sort of dad type personality, if you would. And I actually went over some of the series, but interestingly
You know,
enough, She-Ra
Others
was
said the
the better
giants used to
character.
visit the Midgard Mountains before they disappeared.
Disappeared.
Yeah, I guess they just up and left one day. No one knows why.
Perhaps they returned to their home.
Jotunheim? Maybe. I wonder if the face in the mountain was a tribute to some important giant.
So yeah, and She-Ra was a very much better character. Not
The
just
mouth!
Reaver.
We made it!
More black breath.
Not just the Reaver necessarily, but also the original series as well. Was actually very much more. Was actually much more interested in fleshing out the personalities, the very, and not to mention weirdly
Giants did
enough,
come here.
She-Ra very rarely ever hit anyone. Like, most of the stuff that she had to do was like, which interestingly enough actually made her look a lot smarter than He-Man. Like, He-Man usually did this weird, out of the way, weird fucking shit that he normally do. Like, he would lift up a mountain and shit like that and throw it. He would do shit like, create a tornado to, like, suck up a fucking, lake or something like that. It's weirdly weird shit. She-Ra, on the other hand, she had her moments of doing weird stuff like that. It was much more interesting and believable in a way, if you can imagine it.
Where are we going? The entrance was back there.
Are you in a hurry?
No, but you normally are. I'm happy to keep exploring. You want to leave already? We just got here.
So yeah. Ooh, a Putin bot. So yeah, in reference towards certain characters though, and I think I'll agree with the rest of everyone else here in saying that in reference towards the reboot, Catra is like the worst fucking person ever. Like, I like her design a lot better than the original, but when it comes to She-Ra, the reboot, like, Adora was okay. She was a little bit grating at times with what it is that she was going for, because in a lot of ways some of her stuff was fairly stereotypical in a sense. But I can be lenient on that because her like journey was so fascinating, and what we found out about her as well as like the rest of everything else. Here's a bit of a question though. Should they continue Adora's little thing there and bring in her into Eternia? I'd love to see what it is she does with Skeletor.
Is that a deer?
interesting.
I don't remember stories of a giant with a deer head. Wonder who he is.
What does it say?
No yoked beast, nor fearful thrall, nor rooted tree doth know my call.
Interesting. Yeah.
Ready yourself!
So yeah. Like I've always found out about like, you know, interesting ideas that were sort of explored in the series of the original He-Man. They were more or less moralistic in a sense. In case if anyone didn't notice, there was a lot of interesting themes of identity going on.
The floor
Particularly
boy.
with regards to...
That doesn't mean anything. Something's missing.
Nothing.
I see. So yeah.
Oh, that got up there. This place must have been important to the giants. It's like they're testing us. Okay.
So yeah.
That looks right.
one of the things that was always about identity, by the way, is always belonging. Like,
I can almost make it out.
Define your identity is through where it is that you belong. Sheila defined her identity through her friends and through her duty
Runes!
to
I can read it now.
Through her duty and through her protection of the kingdom of Eternia and the planet as well. So, you know, one of the things that's always been interesting in that regard is how it is that she also drew her strength from her companions as well. You also have the simple fact that, while, you know, Evil Lynn, on the other hand, she drew her strength from her adoration and her attempt to please various different individuals, primarily Skeletor and then herself. And then when Skeletor comes back, it was an attempt to gain his affection, apparently. Now, I'm not a big fan of how she was, like, referenced as being in love with Skeletor. I don't like that change, okay? I like, alright, if you're gonna do that, make it a continuation of the original reboot. Sorry, my bad. The reboot of He-Man in 2003, I think it was. That one was really great. Check that one out. I recommend it. So, yeah.
Is it the answer?
Freedom. Sure, that works.
What the fuck? Can I not get off? What? I'm like pressing stuff. It's not letting me go. It's not
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay.
Browse.
For some reason.
What you doing? Oh, thought maybe there'd be a bridge.
Your giants mean to test us further.
There's a crystal in that torch holder. Should I light it? That helps, right? Doesn't look like it's working. Guess we have to go down and go up.
These passages seem too small for giants. Why do you laugh?
Oh, you're serious.
I am always serious.
I forget it. Mom always said you never took an interest in history. Giants are just a race, like elves and Holgerfolk. It isn't really big.
What of the world serpent?
Okay, in that case, giant also means big. But there's only one of them.
So, honestly, depending on whether they pulled it off, and I think they did, whether or not that means it's good, however, is another story. I think what they did was fairly adequate. I don't think it's good or bad. I think it could have been better. But yeah, that's really all I have to say on that. There's not really much one can assess with regards to the relations. Now, the outset could have been better, but the screeching from the anti-SJWs did not help. And by screeching, I really do mean that. I mean, they were just so loud and obnoxious. What are they saying? They ruined He-Man! They destroyed He-Man! Yeah, it's She-Man and the dykes of the universe. It's like, oh my god. Okay, seriously, you guys are fucking ridiculous, first of all. Secondly, like, seriously, dykes of the fucking universe? Can you get more fucking goddamn transparent than your fucking dignity? Are you fucking kidding me here?
Done.
Damn, that kind of kicked my ass there. So, yeah. The point I want to make here is that people should stop overreacting over shit like this. I mean, there really isn't a reason to make up bullshit like that. First of all. Secondly, and I gotta be perfectly clear here, a lot of these people are just like really just problematic sexist individuals that probably don't give a flying fuck about the goddamn property itself. The other thing you gotta imagine now, and this is the thing I have to wonder about. Is that why is it that these people seem to have interest in these things? And we don't seem to want to engage with literature.
Really slow.
And that's the thing I've always wondered, you know? Because this is a bit of a segue, especially with the ones Waller. And I have to wonder about this guy because it's like, you know, it says that, you know, references are important. Especially with regards to what it is you're trying to argue and what it is you're trying to put forth as a thesis. Especially, sorry about that. Seems like I just go ahead and up that a little bit. Oh, by the way, before we get into that a little bit, I want to say here. Hold on, I actually need to go ahead and get myself something to drink. So, before we get into the whole Mauler situation, I wanted to go ahead and make it very clear here that that hopefully within the next 2, maybe even 3 weeks, I'll be transitioning my station over to a room in particular in the house that I'm going to be converting over to my own little studio there. I'm going to be eventually moving one of the doors over to my room, so that way only I can go into there through my room, and it will have it will pretty much have soundproofing. It'll be like my own little private studio set up there. And we'll be streaming for the foreseeable future. So, yeah. But anyways, that's gonna be hopefully within the next 3 weeks, maybe 4. Once I get everything going there, it should be pretty well off. It should be pretty well off. Especially once I get the lighting set up there the way in which I want it. So, hold on, wait a second. What's up with this? What? Hold on. My controller isn't like... For some reason it's not registering. I guess I've got to go and restart the, oh yeah, my bad. It wasn't focused on there, my bad. Oh, that's what was going on there. Okay. Yeah, I'm high. I'm pretty high right now.
Boy, another light crystal. God damn it, fucking Christ, what the hell? Seriously, one hit? Be fucking kidding me here. That's fucking stupid. Come on. I don't know why it's like... Yeah, seriously.
is over.
Did good, boy. Anyways, let's go and continue where we left off here. Which was... Ooh, let's see here. Oh yeah, I believe Mahler now. So, one of the issues I have with Mahler is that he doesn't seem to understand that the DCU isn't exactly setting itself up to be like anything else here. If you actually bothered to check out a DVD from, I don't know, a library or Blu-ray from a library, for example, you'll find out that a lot of this stuff is actually being advertised in tandem with other comic material and references to other stuff. Like, for example, apparently one of the references to the comics that...
This is a lot of bodies.
Oh, let's see.
Tell me what you see.
Well, they look like men, not giants.
Correct. Thieves seeking treasure. See the traps?
Oh yeah. Lucky for us, they set them all off.
Be grateful these stay dead.
The statue! We made it across!
What does it say?
Yes, sir. Oh, this is Durothron, one of the 4 stags of the World Tree. He's supposed to watch the entrance to Yunnan while the giants sleep. Are you still there?
I do not know.
So, yeah. Like, for example, one of the sources that Zack Snyder is actually drawing from is called JLA Rock of Ages. Apparently it's a story in which Darkseid literally conquers Earth.
Here. Boy.
And
Yes, sir.
takes over the entirety
I've
of...
seen this language before.
And takes over the entirety of that world universe, that Justice League's universe. Which is very interesting, I have to say. Because a lot of people keep saying, oh, he's just taking from, like, Justice in the Injustice League. It's like, wrong. No, he's not taking from the Justice League. In fact, no, the sources is from the Injustice League universe. Like, there's nothing to indicate that. There's no sources, no references, nothing. And, like, people keep saying, if you just watched the movie, you'd be able to tell automatically where he's coming from. It's like, you're kidding me, right? Like, back your shit up. Like, what are you basing this on? What's your source? Like, okay, yeah, you guys should have a favor.
Brother, right side! Need more time? I'm ready!
One of the things that I've always had a bit of a problem with regards to the community is how they also, like, they don't really respond well to criticism.
Where to now?
Like,
The peak is
a
still
lot
our
of them
goal.
only watch
We find
about
a way up.
5 to 7 minutes of my video, and didn't even respond to anything in it, like, in a fashion that actually indicates that they watched it. Either that, or they're just flat out being dishonest and engaging in bad faith. Which it's like, if you're going to do that, why the fuck are you even interacting with my
Wow.
goddamn video?
Eyes deep in the realms.
Why are you
Your
even...
mom knew this was the Giant's Mountain?
No, the request has been more complicated than she could have foreseen.
But, you know, it's like, for example, saying that, oh, Mahler doesn't understand the comics or whatever, You know, even though like the movie should stand on its own. Now, I even pointed out why it is that this is like invalid. I pointed out that hey, movies that are adaptations of previous source material, when you say that something doesn't make sense or whatever, and it is especially meant to be as a part of a series, it's like supposed to like unfold as time goes by in a sense, wherein like okay, we get more of the story, we get more of the backstory with each successive entry in the series. It's like that would be perfectly fine. It's like, and that was the idea. And considering that Zack Snyder was being sabotaged for quite a bit of it, the entire play-by-play of his whole ordeal. I think it's understandable that, well, we would probably want to, at the very least, see where he's going with that. Not to mention, like, a lot of people keep saying that, oh, like, Zack Snyder, like, was writing it down with Superman. It's not even based on anything on the comics. Did you ever read John Byrne's Superman? Because that's actually one of the source materials he's drawing from. Like, you know, and this is one of the criticisms that Mulder tries to bring up here, and yet Mulder can make this criticism, and yet not actually, like, this is some of the things that he actually says on EFAP from time to time, when she says that the source material that he's drawing upon is so much more interesting than what Zack Snyder is doing, and that what Zack Snyder is doing isn't actually reminiscent of what's, like, what the source material has already done with the series so far. It's like, are you fucking kidding me here? Okay. But, you know, I just find it very interesting that, like, they can make these criticisms of the movie, but for some reason I can't, like, point out that, hey, you're wrong. These things are there. Like, this is actually the things that exist. But not only that, like, some of the criticisms that the series has kind of gotten is really fucking petulant. Man of Steel, for example. And I don't get why it is people try to reference, like, the nostalgia critic as, like, a serious contender as to why is it really so bad. Like, he's not a good reference point for any of this stuff because he doesn't understand any of the fucking characters in any particular fashion. It isn't like Christopher Reeves or DCAU. Which, like, the DCAU does draw a bit from John Byrne's Superman, but, like, takes a more cartoonish role. Yeah. Anyways. Point being is that there is a lot of interesting stuff going on in the Superman mythos that most people just don't know because they just don't bother reading any of it. And it's not really Muller's fault. You know, this is a common misconception. This is a common problem with a lot of people. You know, a lot of people just don't read Superman comics. You know,
Interesting.
I mean, they read popular recommended Superman comics like Kingdom Come or Dark Knight Returns, even though Dark Knight Returns, technically speaking, isn't a Superman comic, but the portions of Superman they are very interesting. At the very least, it provides interesting commentary. You know, people read All-Star Superman. People read, what was it, the What Happened to the Man Tomorrow. People read some of the Golden Age runs and whatnot. Maybe some of the Silver Age runs. And that's about it. You know, some choice Silver Age, some choices, you know. Maybe they might read a Legion of Superhero story with Superman in it. You know, young Superman. You know, they might have watched Smallville. You know, in other words, all their information comes from that and Christopher Reeves. Like, and Mulder strikes me as very much that type of guy. And you know, I know this because his takes seem to be very much that of Vosh's takes, because Vosh follows Mulder. Like, weird. Yeah, I know, right? It's I'm not making this up. Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. Hold on. So, alright, just trying to get to his Twitter. Alright, let me show you what I've been talking about here. So, see this? Yeah, crazy, right? Mulder has done videos on Vosh wherein, like, he has made fun of him with that in front and watch. And it's mostly just reacting to videos. Well, yeah, it's mostly just reacting to videos of people responding to Vosh. But there's a couple here and there of people responding to, like, Vosh as well, so, you know. But yeah, I kind of showed some of the things that he was doing there. Would be interesting to get Mulder's take on Vosh's take on Mulder, and so, you know, given the fact that we kind of know what it is that he thinks on this point. Oh, it's so adorable. Like, you see, as you can see here, they're really like Adam Friended, by the way, is really obsessed with them for some reason. Like, look at that. Like, okay, this is like coming up because it's like live streaming. So, in fact, let's see what he's talking about right now.
Have this conversation about whether like trans women can have it's the whole thing.
Yeah, and estrogen is, I think, not so dangerous compared to testosterone.
Okay, they're just talking about transgender and stuff. Okay, that like I it's not really relevant to what it is I'm saying here. So, but yeah, you can see here that they're very butthurt. He's very butthurt over his interaction with him because like. Because of this. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, thrilled to have you here. This is going to be...
This debate was so good. It was so good. Yeah, I recommend it. Anyways. Oops, my bad. Yeah, let's go and turn that off for the moment. And let's turn this off. it's important to understand these things, honestly, that I really do think that it's like something to actually draw upon with regards to what it's trying to say and what is he trying to prove here. Because really, like, I think if you're trying to like understand, critique a series, you should really like try to do basic fucking research. And since Mahler tries to elevate the analysis community, one of the things that he would be all for, like incorporating research and references and, you know, doing the actual legwork to do that kind of stuff. But nah, he just wants to go ahead and simply react to shit. He just simply wants to go ahead and take videos and make fun of people, and even like encourage his fans to harass him. Even though he probably say, "Oh no, we don't do that. We actually discourage it." It's like, yeah, but every single time you actually do a video on someone, they get massive amounts of fucking harassment. Like every fucking time. Like it doesn't fucking matter. Like yo, I'm getting references to people making fucking I got a couple like references of people making references to the fact that I live with my dad, and the fact that my dad is like died earlier on in the year. Like what the fuck? Like, are you fucking kidding me here? And one of these guys said, "Why are you referencing my dad?" When he's like one of the people who like was like, "Dude, you're one of the shitheads that was like talking shit about me living with my dad when my dad is dead. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously." Anyways, and all coming from Mahler's community, and I know this because guess what? Those people didn't come here until I decided to go ahead and post up on Reddit. So yeah. So it seems like his community doesn't seem to like understand this kind of stuff, and he also seems to like not be able to respond to criticism fairly well. At least when that criticism is poignant and like very directed in a sense, rather than like the half-assed jumbled bunch of bullshit. Which like I get that he wants to treat like a lot of criticism as illegitimate, since like so much of what is flung his way is illegitimate. But like what it is I'm saying here, what it is I'm trying to communicate to him, should be taken to heart. But it's like he doesn't really want to say. He doesn't seem to really want to engage with any of it. At least that's what I'm gonna be doing. By the way, I ended up going to the library to get some copies of some of these DVDs and whatnot. Just so that way I can go ahead. Just so I can go ahead and make sure to get like, you know, all the sources from the DVD. I'm gonna look up some interviews and other stuff, as well as some sources of what certain characters are being drawn upon. I already have.
It's a name, I think. Razzler. It means terror. What's that? Weird. There's a candle all tangled up with string and some sort of animal hide. Some kind of animal? No, wait for it.
That is of no use to us. The Bifrost lights our way. Stop that.
Come on, I was just... Okay.
Alright, so...
Hey, what do you think with these torches? The dead don't need...
Eyes open.
Okay, I'm gonna go back here real quick just to see how it is. I can go ahead and because I think there was some kind of a chest back there, wasn't there? I might have passed. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and get that first. Anyways, going back to Mahler. The other thing that I think is important to sort of take into consideration is the fact that he doesn't seem to
Boy,
really be
another light
interested
crystal.
in taking seriously some of the things that he says. Like, for example, he says that, like, oh my god, how many horses, like, you know, the use of horses, for example, and the use of medieval technology, if you would.
Just look at this
Like,
place.
he doesn't
Feels
seem to
so-
understand, like,
Dead.
the fact that
I was gonna say ancient, but that works too.
some cultures, like the Amazon, would keep certain traditions and certain issues of cultural baggage that are attached to them as being relevant for quite some time. And the reason why I say this is because, like, oh, hold on. So, anyways, as I was saying here, like, he doesn't seem to understand that the Amazons wouldn't really, like, throw away thousands and thousands and thousands of years of cultural heritage they've built up over the, like, literal millennia. Not only that, because, like, they're also individuals who, for the most part, do not age. As a result, they carry a certain, like, cultural, thematic understanding of their people that is uniquely theirs, that they would obviously not want to dilute at this point in time. Now, to some degree, I think Diana is going to go ahead, and from what we saw at the end with Justice League, the way it seems with Zack Snyder's Justice League, like, at the end there. Like, Diana's obviously going to go ahead and go back home, and her and Zack's, and her people are going to be united, not only with Diana, but probably with mankind as well, to both help prepare them for the inevitable invasion of Darkseid. And basically the same thing is probably going to happen with the Atlanteans as well. So... And I say that because, like, that seems to be basically where the script was going to be going with Snyder. But, okay. what? Oh wait. Oh, there we are. B and R. Okay then. Okay. Okay. And I would imagine that when they join the modern world, they'll probably bring with them a certain understanding and wisdom that will advance their technology, as well as have societies by quite a bit of while. You know, making them like think, oh my god, man, these people, these superheroes, these like super beings are like really powerful. They were like actually helping society, like in ways that are far better than what Tony is doing. Because what was Tony's legacy? Oh, he gave everyone arc reactive technology. Like, okay, renewable, limitless energy. Does it cost anything? Do we know anything about it? Like, how is it being implemented? We don't know. Like, what the fuck? Like, I might as well go ahead and see whether or not we can find out about that. I'll see about doing my research, but I guess we can do a comparison. But yeah, anyways, I'm probably going to be doing about 2 videos on Mauler, which I think is like probably going to be fair in a sense. I say fair because like Mauler really needs to be taken down a peg or two, due to the simple fact that his takes on the DCEU are just like objectively garbage. Like I said before, when he tried to showcase or put forth the idea that that removing the blood splotches was better for the Joss Whedon version, and like doing that thing with Harm's Doomsday in front of her, and only in front of her, like 20 feet away from Batman, which isn't all that, which isn't like maybe she's like 13, 6 feet or whatever. Like, clearly she would not be... Clearly, there would be like a bit of a problem trying to justify that. Not only that, because like, removing the blood splotches doesn't really do anything, because the way which she strikes people indicates that she's obviously killing them. I mean, she strikes a guy right here, and she flies backwards. She strikes him right here in the back, and he flies backwards off of his feet. He's dead. She just caved his chest in. There's another guy. She throws him right. She like throws him in the back. Tosses him like right in the back side of him. His head just crunches into what was probably like, I don't know, some kind of ceramic, maybe marble sort of corner of a wall. He's dead because he just collapsed some of that part of that wall. He's dead. There's no way that guy is like survived. No way. He's not surviving. And
to top it off, get this. Oh! Three of the thugs magically get knocked out when Wonder Woman tries to leap up and tries to save the entire room from getting bombed. You know? Or tries to save the entire, like, the city logs from being destroyed, I guess you might say. So, or I guess you could say. Anyways, and I even explained the logistics and how that would work. Like, I even pointed out, like, hey, the reason you can tell, and this was in part 2 as well, it's like, I even posted part 2, and these people didn't even bother watching part 2, because I do bring up other shit too. Like, I even point out there's other things I bring up. I even point out what it is that I have a problem with him, and why, and what it is that, like, even barring all of this, or some objectively wrong stuff that he does, which is such and such, and nobody seems to want to address that. Everyone wants to address the other shit. That's like, even if you were to forget that, there's other shit to, like, take a problem with. Like, you know, he's, like, wrong on so many different levels. He's wrong in the level of source material. He's wrong in the level of interpretation. He's wrong in what he's arguing as a matter of fact, you know? I mean, Joss Whedon's version makes him look far more cartoony, when in fact it should be, like, just, okay, yeah, sure, some of these people killed, and sometimes the people they kill deserve to be killed. Like,
Whoa.
I don't care if
What is
Wonder
all
Woman
this?
kills suicide
Her
terrorists. I mean, who
Mine.
cares?
And if this claw reaches the summit, our goal is near.
I think if you're going to go and kill
Alright,
women and children
how
for
do you
your goals, for suicide political efforts, to bring people back to the Dark Ages and suffer Buddhism, I think you deserve to die.
Follow me, Atreus.
Especially if you're not going, especially if you're going to continue, no matter what. Even when faced with someone like Wonder Woman, you know, you deserve to die.
What does it say?
That's funny.
How so?
One hand wrote, Jotnar only. And another wrote, and also dwarves. Should we add to it?
No.
There's gotta be a way to make that claw work.
Anyways, there's like so much more as well. Like, why did Mulder think that somehow Barry Allen was just like, and he does say this, by the way, in his EFAP, which are, by the way, I'm going to go and bring up. I'm going to go and watch his EFAP and reference to stuff after I'm done researching what it is I have to research with regards to the films and all that. Why does he assume that, oh, the Flash is...
There's a rope by that torch. The machinery is almost warped, but the stone was No, I think the giants not only mine the mountains, but actually live here.
Yeah, anyways, like I was saying... why does he think Flash was just a normal guy with, like, normal durability levels and he needs a suit to be able to protect him? Like, why does he think that? Why is that a thing that he believes? Like, you would never assume that of any speedster ever. That's like a common speedster trope. It's just something you assume. Like, what the fuck? Like, we even see him use the Speed Force to heal, but he takes a little bit. And we can kind of, like, make the assumption it's because he, like, hasn't eaten very much in a long while. Or, I don't know, maybe he has. Not too sure. I'll double check on that one. But anyways, it's because he hasn't really eaten, therefore he's, like, having trouble gathering, like, the necessary energy to be able to do that. Because, like, you know, Speed Force requires you to burn like, a shit ton of calories and so on and so forth. So, yeah. And as a result, he needs to, like, replenish that with, replenish that energy with more calories and
Come, boy.
I don't know, one would imagine, so yeah. He refers to himself as like a black hole. He refers to it as like a black hole snap, being like a black hole snap. So it's like it is kind of an accurate portrayal, if you ask me. Okay. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's right. I think it's right here. Right? Yeah.
I think I see how this works. The claw's on one side, and if we get this unstuck... Oh no! I think the rope's stuck under that rock.
That was careless.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Stop! But maybe we can find a way to the door. After, getting rid of those things.
Okay. And I said that because it like makes the weirdest fucking comments. Like, why would you assume that Barry would ever like need to like have this creepy ground to burn? Like, what would that ever be an expectation that you would ever have? What in Flash's history suggests when powers make that susceptible to the environment? Why does he also think that, like, I don't know, the dark side somehow forgot when, like, he answers the question himself of, like, oh,
How'd I do?
dark
I
side
see
had a
improvement.
war and the people who were with him were destroyed, especially the navigator. Like, of course, it's like, also, like, he left the mother boxes, and, like, the mother boxes that he probably like brought in were also destroyed. We can also assume that as well because like he left with the ships and the ship probably had a mother box. So it's like also like Desaad. If you notice, like when he's addressing Desaad and he says, "Oh, he's going to go and get the anti-life equation," Desaad is like, "Oh shit, man, this is really worrying. This is not something I want." He gives Granny Goodness a look, which seems to indicate that it looks like that he doesn't really want Darkseid to actually have the anti-life equation. Makes you wonder why. Oh.
You had a way around the Black Breath all along?
Now don't go thinking I could have gotten you past it, you big sack of meat. I got ways around most everything, especially up here. Time was, my folk had the run of this joint. Improved the design of the Jotnar traps and built workarounds to boot. Why do you think they're so devious?
I'm gonna go ahead and pause real quick. Get a little light in here.
As long as I didn't not. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I don't fucking care if he's like. As long as I don't call around him indecent, it's gonna be a fucking problem. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't really ask for that. In fact, just to prove a point here, we're gonna go ahead and take a bit of a break from the game for a second, real quick. And we're gonna be watching Mauler for a little bit, just to do a bit of a play-by-play, just to show you what it is I'm talking about here. So yeah. Oh, it looks like it put that at the very beginning again. See it real quick.
Headbutts from fucking Superman. So long she moves did to reload, or things might have gone a little different. I mean, what the fuck took her so long? She moves at the speed of sound and tanks headbutts from fucking Superman. Wonder Woman is no longer just a rapist, she's a psychopath. Congratulations. Her characterization in this movie is fucking embarrassing. When looking strictly at her actions, she's joined the ranks of some of the most reckless heroes. Heroes that are in the job for the appreciation, but scenes that are specific for telling us who she is are essentially non-existent.
I lost someone I loved once.
No, you lost him twice.
I shut myself off from everyone.
No, you continued saving people for years, and you rescued the planet from
As you can see, he brings up so many points in so many quick succession that responding to each and every single one of them takes an allotted amount of time here. You wouldn't have to allot exactly what it is you're going to talk about, and sometimes if you break even that down, like, you'll find out that he's even wrong in more ways than you might have even imagined. He's like factually wrong in so many different fashions.
Destruction thanks to wishes going awry. My goodness, thanks for respecting continuity there, Zach. Or Patty, you guys can...
It's like a gish gallop, for all intents and purposes. Like, there's just so many things wrong that he said there. It's hard to respond to each and every single one of them. So let's go and get down here, shall we? First of all, why exactly would you want Zack Snyder to put this in continuity with 1984 Justice League? Like, I mean, with 1984 Wonder Woman. Like, why? Why would that be a thing? Secondly, why would you dock that as a point of reference to the movie, given the fact that Wonder Woman came not only after, but also Zack Snyder did not have the physical, like, resources to be able to make that in, like, combination with that movie, with, like, Zack Snyder. Like, so, but that being said here, Patty Jenkins, like, one of the points that you put forth is that, oh, Wonder Woman doesn't try to kill in both iterations. No, that's just flat out wrong. If you look at my other video that I did on there, and you watch the scenes that Wonder Woman actually ends up engaging in combat, she kills quite a few people. She knocks out quite a few people. She does flat out just murder certain people. Like, it's a thing that she does. Now, there will be times when she doesn't do that, when the context is appropriate not to do that. And, you know, that's who Wonder Woman is. In fact, let's see here. Sorry about that. Not too sure why they did so. So yeah. So I just saw Wonder Woman and loved it, but she kills a lot of German soldiers. Does Diana have a no-kill rule like Batman and Superman? She doesn't have a no-kill rule. More of do everything else first, but if that doesn't work, yeah. R.I.P. Maxwell Lord's knack. It was less of a rip and more of a snap. She's a warrior. She'll kill if she has to, although she's although she's usually not happy to do so.
In the movie, she's had the line about proper weapons not killing civilians, having unintended consequences, targets. I think that's more what they were going for. She'll engage in a fight or a war, but there's no such thing as acceptable collateral damage to her. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense in the regards. Like she does like flat just like kill that sniper. Which like okay, he's a sniper. He's like sniping not only at her friends but also like at civilians too. So that's the thing. So yeah, there's like a lot of things to say about this, and there's just so much to break down. And it's hard to know where exactly to begin and where exactly to end.
Figure that out.
I've killed things from other worlds before.
No, you haven't. Okay, as an alternative, how about she has a scene where she explains her shame in failing to step up as a leader because she believes that Steve's death is just one example of the many to come when she begins to tell people to put their lives on the line for a cause.
This is the job.
It's my job. And I haven't been doing it. I've been reacting. Not leading. To step into the light and to say to people, this is worth your life. They're all Steve Trevor.
But she knows she has to step up because her team member is mortal and he can't lead forever. You could have this scene double up as her having concern for a team member's health that shows his position in the battle, prompting her to express through action and dialogue that she cares for the team on a personal level, life on a macro level, and balancing the responsibility of taking care of this world instead of reminiscing on that Chris cock. This conversation could get started because she notices Bruce isn't fully recovered from the battle. Again,
it is so funny because the same lines are used to reminisce about Chris in the version that he's referencing here. But that I think you should understand here that Zack Snyder had a bit of a problem with this movie. Let's see, would Zack Snyder use Justice League footage?
There would be no chance on Earth that I got a shot that was made prior or after I left the movie. There would be no way. I would destroy the movie. I would set it on fire before I would use a single frame that I did not photograph. That is a fucking hard fact. And that is just, and it, you know, I just.
I mean, we knew this, but I had to ask just so that we have.
For the audience.
I literally would blow that fucking thing up if I thought for a second.
The reason why he feels this way is because he was fucked out of the goddamn movie the way in which it was. The actors were treated very poorly in a variety of different manners. And it came out, by the way, recently that apparently Joss Whedon and as well as like, what is it? Who did the Infinity War again? As well as like Infinity War, Endgame. Making sure it's the same person. Directors Anthony Russo. Yeah, so the Russo brothers, as well as Joss Whedon, all got a look at like Zack Snyder's original thing there, and like they made Infinity War and like Endgame about it. I mean, just like, so yeah. Real quick. Yeah, see? Here's the thing. When did this video come out? Oh, March 30th. When did this article come out? Oh yeah, June 6th. I'm sorry, Mulder, but at the very least do your fucking research.
Reinforcing that she keeps an eye on this sort of stuff. Maybe if we could drop a scene like that into the movie.
Oh. One more thing here. I'll say this. Yeah, that's a nice scene. Would have taken too much focus away and would have literally been part of the scenes that were used to reinforce that Batman was a joke, by the way. That's the thing, though. Like, this is something that Mulder doesn't really get about this scene. This scene indicates that Batman was more or less a joke than not. In other words, like, Batman's a normal human being. He shouldn't even be in these scenes. What the fuck is he doing here? He's a goddamn joke. Same thing with the Flash, by the way.
Movie, we could improve it somewhat. Speaking of Batman, his...
So how does a scene which attempts to showcase that he's a joke, rather than, like, him actually, like, being somewhat confident in a sense and hopeful? Like, why is that bad?
If we could drop a scene like that into the movie, we could improve it somewhat. Speaking of Batman, his lack of superpowers puts him in a far more vulnerable state. Wonder Woman could even correct his shoulder while talking to him about having brought in Lois Lane. 3 things at once.
Honestly, we don't need the reminder that Batman is a human being, perfectly honest. I don't mind Batman being a larger-than-life figure who's, like, tougher than he normally is because of the heroes and the villains that he normally teams up with and goes against, you know? It's just not something I mind. Well, why is that a problem? Well, why does Batman have to be a human being in order for you to, like actually, like, relate to him, when in fact the reality is that you should, like, see what it is that he represents and see what it is that he's aspiring towards, which Batman apparently, like, is meant to represent the renewal of the hopeful sort of idealized superhero, which like right now he's currently gathering a team, as is like bringing him back to the days in which he was, like, you know, working with others rather than, like, on his own.
He and Wonder Woman have a stronger friendship developing.
You make it through tonight, you can stay in the shadows forever. Dress up like a bat. I won't even sue.
If we get through.
Humor like that, though, is, like, completely out of place in the Snyderverse. So, like, one of the things that made the movie so bad, by the way, was the humor. It just felt really out of place. Like, nobody liked it. It just didn't make any sense, especially with reference to, I don't know, what comes later. You'll see what I mean. We'll get to it.
He, unlike the others, can't tank significant hits, humanizing him and reminding the audience of the sacrifice he makes. And finally, that Lois Lane was brought in by Bruce. We're going to come back to that. You know, a scene like that...
It's very interesting, too, because it's like... He talks about Wonder Woman, then all of a sudden he veers right into Batman for some weird fucking reason. Then he goes back to Wonder Woman again, and it's like, and then he goes like, yeah, okay, these scenes are nice, but it's like, he's completely missing the fucking point of what Snyder is doing, He's not explaining why it's better. He's just saying, oh, this is better because it's good, because it humanizes him, because it's good, because it's better. It's like, what's wrong with a larger-than-life, tougher than average, like, Batman? What's the big deal about that? I mean, sure, we can see Batman in a hospital rig, sure. We can go and do that. But it has to be something dramatic, like, I don't know, like, for example, in the DCAU, how many times did you actually see Batman comatose? Never. How many times have you ever seen Batman in a hospital bed? Maybe 2 times? 2 times out of the entire run. That's like, and I'm saying maybe because I think I might be misremembering one of them. So, point being is that if you like these characters and you actually, like, understand them in a sense, you understand that in some cases it's okay to have these characters live action and be larger than life because that's what DC does. If you don't understand that and you don't like that, then that's a matter of taste, but that's not a matter of you, like, saying that it's better. Like, what you prefer is what you want from, like, you want this to be more Marvel-esque, which Joss Whedon literally wanted this to be more like Marvel. He literally inserted and reshot this scene to make these characters more human, and less like how Snyder was trying to put them as. So yeah, and this wasn't something that you were informed of. Yeah, for some reason you don't think that this is like a valid interpretation. Why? Fuck if I know. You're not even answering that.
At once, he and Wonder Woman have a stronger friendship developing.
We make it through tonight.
Sane was brought in by Bruce. We're going to come back to that. You know, a scene like that seems like a straight up the one taking the most friends in Trag, opting instead to jump death, only to have this demon god jump on to taking the most risk being the most human. Be a real shame if Batman worked really hard to rescue his friends in battle, covering Diana, only to have this demon god jump onto his bat crab and try again and again to punch him to death. It would be an additional shame if Wonder Woman chose to ignore this, opting instead to jump off the platform away from him to collect her sword, something she doesn't need to save her teammate from certain death.
Are you fucking kidding me here? So let me get this straight. You want her to use her bracers while Steppenwolf is on top. She could literally destroy the entirety of that area. Like, she could destroy the vehicle that Batman is in. Like, are you fucking kidding me here? Like, okay, well, tackle him. Yeah, well, he has a weapon. Okay. Like, the entire reason why she tackled him initially was because he was grabbing for his weapon and he didn't have it. Meaning that she could have the jump on him. She was hoping to be able to knock him out, but that didn't happen. So she lured him up top to be able to fight him, and then she got disarmed from a weapon. After she got disarmed, she got hammered in there. If she tried tackling him, he would have probably seen it and likely would have tried to slice at him. And she doesn't have a shield. She needs her sword. What's she gonna do, huh? Well, she's gonna go for a fucking sword. Like, what's the big deal, huh? I mean, you're not telling me why this is a problem. You're just saying, oh, well, what about this move? She could have done this. Well, she didn't for good reason. Like, this, like, makes no motherfucking sense. You literally, in enough, had an editor go through this. Why is this so bad? Why are you so bad at criticizing this movie? You should be better. Motherfucker, seriously.
It's not like this is made worse when the Flash arrives, sees a demigod trying to grab a sword versus the man trying to survive a hammering from edginess personified and chooses to push her sword into her hand instead of giving a quick and simple push to Steppenwolf, saving Batman's life. But this is in character, you see. The Flash has a crush on Wonder Woman, and he even has a moment where he listens to the commands Bruce is giving and watches him get attacked, fucked over if you will, but opts to ignore him.
I'll make sure these things follow me!
Instead, he gives a fucking morale boost to people walking upstairs despite having the power to clear out the entire building's worth of creatures in 5 seconds or less. You good?
I've got this. Keep moving.
Fucking worthless idiot. Can you help the one?
Okay, you've got to be kidding me here. Okay, let's Save Flash. Scene. Wonder Woman. This is League Flash, Wonder Woman. Okay, so let's see what the scene originally looked like, shall we? Let's take a look at this. So let's see here. The exact same scene. So, remember, the scene that Mulder was saying that... I mean, look at that. By the way, this person there, that's not Gal Gadot at all. That's a stunt double. You want to know why? Because Gal Gadot refused to do this scene. And she thought it was humiliating towards not only a character, but also to herself, as well as to the actor, The Flash. Like... As you can see here, not very good. In fact, very, very bad. Very, like... Why is he ignoring that? Like, he watched this before Zack Snyder's Justice League. He knows that this, like, what? What the fuck?
One person on your team who is actually at risk of dying. I mean, it's not like Batman does every...
There is just so much I could go over there. But that is just, like, the most glaring of them all. It's like, why are you praising a scene okay, alright, you could take it or leave it, alright, fine, whatever. Like, I kind of liked it. I didn't have any problem with it. I thought it showed how useful Flash was, and in a sense, like, what it was that he was, and showcased what he was capable of, in a sense, as well as showing what his flaws were. But no, you didn't like it. Okay, that's fine. Here's a question, though. Why are you praising the Joss Whedon version when the Whedon version showcases that Flash is not only a joke, but also, like, kind of useless?
Everything for this fucking team without a modicum of respect. I mean, it's not like he's the
Hold on,
like
wait,
who
what?
helped 5 second days despite fucked over, if you will, but opts to ignore him.
I'll make sure these things follow me.
Instead, he gives a fucking morale boost to people walking upstairs despite having the power to clear and instead of giving a quick and simple push to Steppenwolf, saving Batman's life. But this is...
yeah, Steppenwolf, like, is not only weighs so much more, but it showcases that the parademons actually are kind of the same mass and weight as a normal human being. Steppenwolf is clearly much heavier, so I'm not too sure what the fuck is your problem here. With regards to, like, him ignoring Batman getting fucked up, Batman has faced people like Bane, Penguin, fucking Joker, the Riddler, all kinds of fucking psychopaths, tons of fucking gangs, like, all kinds of different scenarios of people in which he's, like, had to face roomfuls of thugs. Like, Batman can handle this, as far as I'm concerned. Like, if he couldn't, he would say something. Because Batman has been at this for 20 fucking years. I don't think that there's a problem with thinking that Batman can handle himself. What is the goddamn... What is... Here's the thing here. I don't get this, okay? there seems to be a thing going on with MCU fanboys. And by the way, this is a problem with Mahler. He is an MCU fanboy by the very virtue of the fact that he expects certain movies to follow certain characteristics of certain superhero tropes. Meaning that if the character is human, meaning that the character has to be shown as vulnerable and human while at the same time being badass in a sense. He doesn't seem to get that sometimes a character can just be badass without necessarily having to show to be vulnerable and human all the time. Sometimes that works, like with Peacemaker, but Batman, I think it's perfectly fine to showcase he's an all-around human being while at the same time showcasing that he's like dealing with trauma and issues, but he's able to do it in a fashion that makes him sort of taller than life, sort of much more than what he seems. And I think that's a valid interpretation of how to go about showcasing a Superman that's in a sense a god. Or not a Superman, a Batman that is in a sense a god. And I don't think that's really a problem. Why is that a problem? Like, oh, it's a problem because you don't like it? Well, that's not a problem for the movie. It's because you don't like it, okay? If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't have to like it. It's not for you then. Go
He's
away.
in character, you see. The Flash has a crush on Wonder Woman, and he even has a moment where he listens to the
I'll make sure these things follow me!
Upstairs, despite... Instead, he gives a fucking morale boost to people walking upstairs despite having the power to clear out the entire building's worth of creatures in 5 seconds or less.
It is meant to be comedic. I mean, I get that it's I get that you may find logistical problems with it, but the entire point of it is meant to be a comedic moment. You'd understand this, and you'd appreciate it if you knew what he was going for. But since you don't know what he was going for, you don't get it. And that's fine. That's not a problem with the movie. You just don't get it. You're just looking at, why is he doing this? Like, because it's a comedic moment meant to reference comedy. There's nothing wrong with it.
You good? One person on your team.
This, keep moving.
Fucking worthless idiot. Can you help?
There's nothing wrong with it unless you want to be a pedantic fucking idiot, which obviously you are. You're being a pedantic moron because, I don't know, you just don't get it.
The one person on your team who is actually at risk of dying. I mean, it's not like Batman does everything for this fucking team without a modicum of respect. I mean, it's not like he's the one collecting and assembling the team, taking care of logistics, using his arsenal to save them and blow open the enemy base, assaulting all of the enemies and essentially fighting a one-man war for 5 minutes straight while...
Gee, wow, it's almost like Batman is being portrayed just like how he is in the comics. Like, you're saying all this stuff like it's a negative, yet like, oh, these are things positive because Batman can do this stuff because he's capable of doing it because he's been doing this for fucking 20 years. Like, I'm sorry, all I'm just hearing is like, this thing that's positive is actually negative because I say so. Like, that's the argument that's being presented here.
While his superhumans waddle in the background, essentially fighting a one-man war for 5 minutes straight while his superhumans waddle in the background. Thank goodness Wonder Woman collected her sword so that she didn't have to pick it back up when she landed regardless. I hope Bruce is still alive.
She is literally falling at the same rate as her sword. It probably would have taken her at least, like, a good portion of 10 to 20 seconds to get it. In which case, it probably would have gotten knocked away. Like, we have no idea what would have happened. Alright, Barry wanted to be useful in the moment. He saw a moment to be useful. He didn't intend to trip. He got full of himself and he tripped, alright? That's a thing that happens with Barry. Like, what? Barry can't have a character flaw that's, like, meaningful, in which sometimes if he gets full of himself, he sometimes messes up? Like, what's... Like, oh, yeah, that's like a big deal. Barry's useless. No, Barry sometimes fucks up, but he means well, and he does do a good job, and he is capable of doing good. Like, that's what we saw. Like it seems like you just want to ignore the fact that without Barry being there, all the scientists would have been killed. Like, what are you gonna ignore that? No, he's gonna bring it up. He's gonna try to denigrate it rather because, like, oh, well, you see.
And I suppose the saddest thing is that Bruce is characterized throughout the entire movie as, I want to make a team for Clark. Being heroes is good. And at the end, he's like, woohoo, I did it. I made the team. Excellent job. Riveting. In Joss's version, many reshoots concerned Batman himself, not just action scenes, but moments to tell us what he had come to believe between the two films and what is driving him.
His strength
doesn't matter how strong you are.
You're more human than I am.
After everything he went through to stop Clark, he's learned enough about him that he sees a man with stronger values than his own alongside a man who has lived a more thorough human experience than himself.
He lived in this world. Fell in love, got a job. Despite all that power.
We know from his conversation with Wonder Woman later that he wants people to be inspired by heroes.
Superman was a beacon to the world. Why aren't you?
Which is on theme in Joss's version with fear consuming the world. Yet Bruce resigns himself to the shadows because he doesn't believe himself to fit that bill. He feels he lacks that fundamentally important element to being a hero in this world, and he's not even sure Bruce Wayne, the man he essentially wears as a mask, has anything close to it compared to Clark Kent. He believes it should be Clark that is the face of the Justice League.
The world needs Superman. Team needs Clark.
If you notice throughout the entirety of the 20 minutes been coming around here, he's constantly referencing Joss's version. And yet he's like bringing up shots that are like just so fucking ridiculous. Like Batman on the goddamn rooftop. And, you know, the references and the reshoots that he did so, which characterize Bruce in a way that doesn't make any sense in conjunction with himself in Batman vs. Superman. He would not have that kind of grief over killing Clark.
He believes it wears as a mask has anything close to it compared to Clark Kent. He believes it should be Clark that is the face of the Justice League.
The world needs Superman. And the team needs Clark.
I think it becomes clear in the subtext that Bruce Wayne needs Clark Kent to maintain a personal hope. As
that aspect of the movie and of his personality is still there. Like, I don't get what it is that you want out of this movie beyond the fact that you wanted some of the shots in Joss Whedon's version to be in there. Like, this seems to be just pedantically complaining over the fact that, like, Joss Whedon's version's better because I liked it better. Like, even though you think that they're both garbage. But if one is garbage and the other, like, is better, it should be the Zack Snyder version, because the Zack Snyder version literally portrays Batman as a joke, as someone who's useless, as someone who shouldn't even be there. Like, they take, for example, the criticism of Black Widow as a human being that Red Letter Media constantly puts out there, which is pretty sexist and misogynistic, if you ask me. But anyways, point being is that they take that criticism and then they apply it to... And then Joss Whedon applies his reshoots in that fashion to Batman. For no other reason other than to say, oh, Batman's useless. Like, watch this. This is Justice League.
Clark. I know you.
And that's Snyder's version.
Please, don't make me do this.
By the way, taking headbutts from Superman. Remember that. Like, yeah, she took 2 headbutts from Superman and then she was knocked the fuck out. What was that point there? There's a more prominent different moan in Whedon's I don't know. I mean, I could be reaching, but weird knowing what went on behind the scenes. Hold on. Hold on. Let's... That is fucking... Yeah, that is fucking weird. Like, what the fuck? I didn't even know that.
Alfred, I need the big gun.
You did this.
I had to.
You won't let me live. You won't let me die.
The world needs... Alfred, I need the big gun.
Yeah. So, I think that it's still fair. I think that the Zack Snyder version is actually better for this. Like, this little scene right there. Like, it's much better. It's much more bombastic. It showcases the strength of the characters a lot more consistently with what it is that Snyder's trying to do here. And it's like much more consistent with the rest of the versions that we see. So,
as giving in to fear of what may come to pass has led him down an uncomfortable and cruel road. That's a hell of a lot more for his character than Snyder ever did, and it's building on stories that Snyder fucking started. I've always thought of Joss's cut to be an absolute garbage fire.
It's so funny that you keep mentioning this because as I showcase there, like, oh yeah, that's right, I almost forgot. There's also one more important thing to remember. There's like the little after thing that comes after there. Hold on. Justice League, Batman, Hurt. Hold on. Justice League, Superman, Hit. There we go. Nope, that's not what I'm... Let's see. Ah, damn. Okay, yeah. I'll have to go ahead and actually get up the file here. Hold on. I'm trying to find... I was trying to find a specific clip that showcases it, but I'm not being able to find it, so I gotta bring up the actual file itself. So, let's see here real quick. There we go. So, here's what happens right after they leave.
Yeah. Oh, something is definitely bleeding.
Do you see what I mean? Like, it's literally a line saying that, haha, Batman's fucking useless. And not only that, like, he's also doing this.
You did this.
I had to.
You won't let me live. You won't let me die.
I mean, look how fucking awful that looks. I mean, this is supposed to be the better version. Like, in terms of execution, it's just awful. Like, his lips are just, like, you can very much tell his lips and teeth are CGI'd. Like,
the world needs you.
doesn't need you.
I mean, that's just like looks so awful.
Do you bleed?
Clark?
I mean, look at the way in which it's like it's supposed to be scary. Yeah, it comes off very cartoony and very ha. Bruce is useless, ha. So, again, better version. Seriously, like, oh, it's showing Bruce as a human being, while at the same time denigrating him and showing him as a joke and portraying him as a fucking idiot. Like, okay, I think we can safely say that Mahler does not know what the fuck he's talking about. I think we can get back to the game here. So.
Oh, that reminds me. Watch out for traps. What's it gonna be this time? Make you something? Yeah, go shoot something in the face for your old pal Brock.
So yeah.
Oh, you make
And
up your mind?
these are like there's like a multitude of problems that have to be brought forth. And one of the things, by the way, I'm gotta go ahead and do eventually is I'm gonna go ahead and convert Mahler's video into a script. So yeah, not looking forward to that.
I'm sure your winning smiles armor enough, but why take chances?
So, you know.
Now where do we go from here? There sure is a lot to see here.
You take care now.
It is a mountain. Big.
There we go. So yeah. Hold on for a second. What other topics did I have lined up for? Quick, I have them on the. Just checking to see what kind of topics I've got going on here. Oh yeah, Total War. Yeah, okay. So, in fact, real quick, before we talk a little bit about Total War, let's talk a little bit about the MCU real quick. So, here's my opinion on where the MCU is going right now. The MCU, for a while now, has been taking a little bit from the comics universe, but has been twisting it and sort of like taking it in different directions, if you would, just to see how things would sort of ferment and go about, you know? In a lot of ways, they're similar to the comics, but in other ways, they're very different. And I think that's like a very interesting thing as to how they're going about it. To be perfectly honest, I'm not exactly launching an enemy into the air. Okay. To be perfectly honest, I'm not exactly like sure whether or not I like what they're going and taking things out. But it would be interesting to see how it is they sort of execute everything. It would be interesting to say the very least. I just want to see where they're going with it all, you know? With Loki,
More traps.
I think it was fairly well done.
There's a tunnel, but you won't fit.
Take it.
Okay.
And with regards to like the types of things that were being like put forth within that series, I think were fairly interesting to say the very least. Like there were a lot of references, a lot of Easter eggs, like which if you could see them all and you had them all break down, which like there's like videos showcasing that there's like some that were broken down quite a bit. You'll find pretty damn quickly
Of course.
That there's like some things going on specifically with regards to like how it is Mobius behind the scenes is like securing his existence throughout the multiverse, you know? There are tons of different references to and tons of different Easter eggs to the entirety of that, and like focuses on that. Then Muller, for whatever strange fucking reason, by the way, I'm gonna bring up again, because he's fairly prominent in these circles, in terms of criticism for the MCU. Because, you know, for some reason he ignores, like, all of this shit. Like, he doesn't talk about it, doesn't reference it, doesn't be interested in, like, factoring it into his, like, understanding of what's going on there. Which, like, people say, oh, you shouldn't have to, like...
I can move it.
You know, which, of course, he's gonna say, well, you have to do research, you know, to be able to, like, understand all this stuff. It says, you don't have to do research, you just have to watch, like, a fucking... Hold on, let's look at how long these videos are individually speaking here, real quick. Okay, so there's a video for each. So there's a great video series by, New Rock Stars. So 27 for. Hold on.
Welcome back.
So, if you were to watch each episode of Loki, and then watch each episode of new Rockstar's videos on Loki doing the whole Easter egg breakdown stuff, you'd have watched the equivalent of basically like, oh, I don't know, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, each of them are about 25 minutes each. Episode 6 is a little bit hefty. It's like got 48 minutes in. So yeah. But anyways, if you would just watch those videos, you'd be able to extrapolate what's going on here pretty fast. And if you don't, like, then you just and if you're just stamping your feet saying, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to like look any of this stuff up. I don't want to have to like research any of this stuff. It's like you're just being obstinate. You don't want to actually engage in the conversation. You don't want to engage in the references. You don't want to incorporate an understanding into your like into what's going on with the movie. You just want to watch the movie and you want to judge the movie as it is, which is fine, but don't fucking call it an analysis then if you're not going to bother doing any fucking research or actually engage with the source material, because doing analysis requires that you actively engage in the source material and do references to like sources and research. Like, it's not that hard to ask. It's not so much to ask. Like, everyone does it. Like, why can't you do it? Why don't you want to do it? Okay, this is what I wanted. Yeah. Waiting for that one. Oh, my bad.
What happened to him?
He died.
Well, yeah.
I see that.
Let's go. Maybe there's a way through that big gate up there? That's it!
Okay, yeah, I can't really do that then. Okay. So, as I was saying beforehand, one thing that I think is important to do with regards to, like, analysis is to, of course, incorporate research into your analysis. Otherwise, you're just some guy gibbering off the mouth as to whatever fucking as to whatever fucking like viewpoint you think is like your educated opinion on this. It's like okay, but nobody, but other, if that's the case, if you want to do that, then that's fine, but otherwise, no one really cares. Like, no one really gives a shit. And I get why it is that he made the video the way what he did. He wanted to go and push against what he felt was like overwhelming support for a really bad movie. And he felt like nobody was criticizing it at all. Like, people like the media weren't criticizing it. In fact, they were actually very fair in what was going on and on how they treated the movie, which actually kind of surprised me. I expected them to go hog wild with bullshit criticism, you know? I expected them to quite literally just like completely and utterly just tear into the movie. No bars, no apologisms whatsoever. Just like, but now they didn't. They were actually fairly reserved in their criticisms. They handled some of the stuff that they did they thought that was a fair criticism, and mostly gave it a pretty good rating for the most part. They said that, like, if this was actually put in the theaters as is, like in a two-part series, like Zack Snyder how he wanted, like, this actually would have done pretty well. And that's their opinion, you know. I also think it probably would have done pretty well. If it didn't do well, then I'll probably eat my hat, but we can't really know that. It seems like the movie was really popular. I mean, even when I asked the librarian about it, when I picked up the copy of it, let's see here. I basically picked up a copy here, as you can see, from the library. The librarian said that this was like a very popular thing when it came out. So the movie was very popular. So it's like, oh, okay, so it's like, wow. That's good to know, actually. Which makes sense, like, and it's kind of funny too, because, like, what was it, there are threads in Mahler's little thing there, and I've seen in like Mahler's little Reddit, and I've seen screen caps, and I've seen them like produce. I've seen screen caps of his like of his Discord talking shit about like Zack Snyder's Justice League, saying that it was extremely funny that they found out that Zack Snyder's like Justice League was being snubbed the way in which it was, and they thought that it was hilarious and glorious at the same time. And they were loving that. And it's like, you're kidding me, right? Like, the way in which Zack Snyder was snubbed, you love that. And it seems like Mahler has attracted an entire community that just loves hate on Zack Snyder. Like, they reference like the fact that the yodel, the quote unquote yodel, the little thing that Wonder Woman's like, the little music that happens whenever Wonder Woman is basically quote unquote about to do a war crime, as Mahler puts it, which is like, okay, I'd have to examine it a little bit further, but I don't think that's what's going on there. He's just adding a little bit more mysticism towards it, which it's like, okay, that's like a thing that was done in his previous movie, which it's like, but that doesn't make him a hack, it just makes him, oh, okay, he used that in the previous movie, so he had like an idea to repurpose that. That's a good idea. Like, sometimes repurposing stuff that you did in older movies for a new purpose, for a completely different purpose, is a sign of a good fucking director and a good mind for creativity. Like, normally people don't do that. Normally people have to force themselves to do everything, like, just to basically do everything as a way of doing it like, oh, hey, we have to do something new. We always have to do something new. Sometimes no. Sometimes you just have to like repeat. Sometimes you can repeat stuff you did old without having done something new, because you don't always have to do something new. Like, that's just a fact. Like, and that's why I think a lot of artists end up like getting things wrong, is that they feel like they have to do something new all the fucking time when they really don't. So. Gotta say.
I think we can make the rope wheel work now. Might give us the way to the top.
Okay, let me go ahead and do this real quick. Let's see, because there was some changes with the graphics previously. Hold on. Display. Ah, yeah, there we go. Yeah, still that says sliding sharpener there. Quality, okay. There we go. Windowed, borderless. I just want a full screen. Can't I have a full screen? What's wrong with full screen? What's going on here? Why is full screen not an option? Oh well. Yeah. Anyways, with regards to like Spider-Man Homecoming, gotta say, I really do like what they're doing with it so far. I kind of like the fact that now Peter has been reset to in which he doesn't really have any connection to Iron Man. He has like, matter of fact, I'll be right back real quick. Hold on. Go. In my way. You know, a lot of people keep saying, more or less, that certain characters they don't really like. And I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not a big fan of people like Captain Marvel, because people like Captain Marvel existing sort of break the existence of the MCU for me. I mean, let's all be perfectly honest here, it really does. And I'll be perfectly honest, when it comes down to it, oh, look, another Putin bot. Look at what we've got. Oh wait, that's right, yeah. There we go. Anyways, Captain Marvel kind of breaks the MCU in a lot of ways. And as a result, like, her very existence doesn't really mesh well with the rest of the universe. With what they've got going on there. That's just like a fact. There's just no way to get around that. I mean... So, yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, one of the other things that I think is very interesting, to say the very least, is, like, you know, the way in which, like, Thor was, and the fact that he was, like, his portrayal was changed to, like, answer the criticism. I think really didn't need the answer. Due to the simple fact that he was, could be to a large degree fairly popular if they would just, like, activate for some time. And spend some time to the character, you know? Instead of just, like, you know, trying to throw caution to the wind into these giant events without having to go enough of them. And I know that Thor is the way in which you explore his cosmic ideas, his cosmic concepts, and, you know, I get that, I appreciate that. God damn. There we go. Damn. God damn. Fucking Christ. Shit. Okay. Now. And, you know, it makes sense to have Thor be the one to, like, absorb a lot of these cosmic threats and to use them to explore these kinds of ideas, you know? It's just that I think it's important to, like, also explore the nature and the character of Thor. And they didn't really do that at all, in fact. With, like, Thor Ragnarok. I mean, they kind of did, but the idea was like, oh, hey, let's retcon some of what Thor is about. In the sense of, we almost sort of redo his character, we history stuff like that. You know? And then like, then the Russo brothers get a hold of them, for like, Infinity War and Endgame, and they're like, okay, we like this, the attempt at it, but we don't like the execution. Like, we get what you were trying to do, but we can do it better. And I'm like, okay. Which, like, I'm not too sure how it is like Kratos, because there was a lot of things wrong with it. What I mean by that is that some of what was wrong with it is quite literally the fact that the Kratos stuff was played off the laughs. And in a sense, it's like really not cool the way it's been done. was actually done indicated like an understanding of depression and anxiety that more or less belies like that of a child's understanding of this topic. It's like, okay.
Back to the wheel.
So yeah, and I'm not really a big fan of Ragnarok, primarily because the original Ragnarok.
You don't have to leave. I'm sure we can figure this out.
The original Ragnarok event, by the way, in the comics, was so good. And the reason why it was so good wasn't just because Rune King Thor and all that stuff, and the powers that he got, rather. Well, but it was because like you can use Ragnarok to do like sort of a hard reset, in a sense, to like bring back quite a bit of the sort of the villains, if you would. Because at the end of it, basically what happens is that Thor, as Rune King Thor, quite literally ends up like ending the he basically ends up ending the Marvel Universe, but rather he resets it, you know. And this allows them to like bring back certain characters, certain ideas, and certain things or whatever, and justify it by saying that, when Thor sort of reset the universe by like, you know, ending the cycle, making it so that the Ragnarok that they went through was the last one, and then be reset right back to the path that they were, which kind of means that Rune King Thor is no longer a thing, but this could mean that like you can make it so that way like Rune King Thor is able to reset the timeline, but in a fashion in which he still retains his power and abilities, you know. And by doing that, by the way, he sets off something called the Infinity War. So yeah, I was going the wrong way. So. And I think that would have probably been a lot better. No, in fact, let's do a Comics Explained video real quick. I'll show you what it is I mean when I'm saying this stuff.
What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and if you're enjoying the content here on my...
Is this the right one? Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay. Here we go, yeah.
Be sure to follow me on Twitter. There you can keep up with all the common requests that I get from you guys is the question of what is Ragnarok? What does this have to do with Thor? I don't understand. Can you explain it? Make it make sense. And so that's what we're going to be doing in this video. And so, simply put, Ragnarok is the cycle of the destruction of Asgard, all beings within Asgard, including Thor and Odin, as well as Loki, and then the rebirth of Asgard. And so in order to make this make sense, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you guys this sort of chronicle with regards to how it was Asgard came into existence, as well as the key action that had changed the Ragnarok event, and it ultimately brought Ragnarok to an end forever. The origin of Asgard is given to us in Thor Annual issue number 5 in 1976. And what we're told here is that at some point in the distant past, or at some point along the line, there was basically a void where everything existed. There was really nothing there. It was simply just this empty space. Now, when I say everything, I mean absolutely everything. Earth, all the universes, or I guess the universe itself, Asgard, the whole nine yards. It was simply just an empty void. Now, in this empty void eventually came a landmass. Now, this landmass was split into two parts. You had the frozen, barren wasteland in the north that had 12 frozen rivers flowing to the south. And in the south, you had this fiery, barren wasteland that had 12 fiery rivers flowing to the north. Now, there came a point whereby these two, these 12 rivers, or these 24 rivers in total, converged into one another. And it created this very temperate climate. But what ultimately ended up happening is that as time progressed, the frozen rivers from the north began to overtake the fiery rivers from the south. And so what ended up happening in this sort of mesh of this area here, this sort of middle ground, is that a being came into existence named Ymir. I think it's pronounced Ymir. It's Y-M-I-R. And this was basically the first being to exist in what would become Asgard, as well as the very first frost giant. Now, what ends up happening here is that, as we know with frost giants, when they're exposed to warmer temperatures, their bodies begin to shrink in size. And this is exactly what happened with Ymir. What ends up happening here is that warmer air from the south begins to move towards the north, and when it does, Ymir begins to shrink in size. And so once Ymir begins to shrink, it's revealed to us that two beings come into existence, a man and a woman. And these are basically another version of the frost giants, keeping in mind here that on Jotunheim, it's not just frost giants. You also have various other forms of giants, but they're not wildly important for this discussion. The fact remains here that in addition to this creation of life after Ymir, I almost said Boromir, after Ymir, what we also find is that a bovine comes into existence. Now, we're not told how this bovine gets there, we're simply just told that it's there. And the role of this bovine is to effectively provide all the Thor disassembled, which was given to us around 2004, 2005. And what this story did is it basically told us why Thor was not part of Avengers Disassembled and why Thor was not in Civil War. What we learn here is that Loki, in effect, begins a campaign to attack Asgard. He actually has his own version of Mjolnir made, along with other hammers that allow him to overtake Asgard. And so what ends up happening here is that as Thor's trying to find a way to get back into Asgard as well as defeat Loki, he basically goes on this quest to gain the same kind of wisdom that Odin had. And so what he learns here is that the, destruction of Asgard, what's currently taking place in Thor Disassembled, is not the first time this has happened. That in fact, we don't know how many times this has happened, but apparently this has happened for millennia. It's happened for years upon years, a number so high that we can't even count. That Asgard came into existence, that the continuity of Asgard continued, that eventually Loki waged war against Asgard and Asgard was destroyed. The difference here is that there had never been an instance in the history of the cycle of Ragnarok where Thor had been banished from the planet Earth. That had never banished from Asgard. That had never taken place before. And so what we learn is that the purpose of Odin doing this, of banishing Thor to the planet Earth, was to basically throw a cog in the wheel of Ragnarok, because Odin had learned what had been going on. He learned that they had been dying and then being reborn and then dying, and they were reborn over and over and over again. And so what happens here is Thor learns that there are beings called the ones who sit above in shadow. And the ones who sit above in shadow are basically individuals who feed on this cycle of the destruction of Asgard and the rebirth of Asgard. And so once Thor learns about this, he actually destroys the ones who sit above in shadow, and in response, everybody in Asgard dies, and Asgard itself is totally destroyed. And so,
as you can see here, this sort of elevates the idea that these beings might be of higher dimensional status and whatnot, you know, which would herald the multiverse in a way that would be like very fitting in a sense, you know. So yeah, and this would be like, yeah, and then and you have to wonder, like, okay, this is a thing. What about Kang? Like, what's he doing? Like, is he allowing this thing to happen? Is this something that he knows of? Does he visit these guys? Like, what's the deal there? Like, there would be so much to do with this stuff. But nope, we don't get any of that. And guess what? Taika Waititi, he has no fucking qualms about, like ignoring all of that. He doesn't give a shit about it. He literally says that. And Critical Drinker, by the way, part of Mahler's crew, says he doesn't care. Same thing with Mahler. it's like, okay, you guys are just like fucking fans of the MCU then. Like, that's fine. Like, don't fucking call yourself fans of these characters then, because you're not fans of these characters. You're just fans of the MCU version.
While everybody on the planet Earth assumes that Thor is actually dead, in fact, he's really in this kind of stasis. He's kind of in this in-between realm where he's not really alive, but he's not really dead. He's really just kind of waiting. But the fact remains here that this is what Ragnarok is. Ragnarok was the endless cycle of the destruction of Asgard, the rebirth of Asgard, and then the cycle repeating itself over and over and over again. Now, with regards to the character of Ragnarok, again, he's pretty straightforward. There came a point at somewhere along the line in the Marvel continuity when Iron Man had first met Thor that he had taken one of Thor's strands of hair. And when he did, his goal was to basically clone Thor at some point along the line. We didn't know when that point would be, and we didn't really know what the reason would be behind.
This was during Civil War, by the way. He activated him during Civil War, and he killed someone. I can't remember who it was.
Behind it, we just knew that Iron Man was likely to do this, and this really came to fruition in Civil War when Reed Richards, Hank Pym, and Tony Stark realized that they were going to need some version of Thor. That Thor was basically their powerhouse. He was the only character that could really stand up and defeat all of the other superheroes that were united against the pro-registration movement. And so what ends up happening here is when they create the cyborg version of Thor, when they create Ragnarok, that it actually ends up going crazy. It kills Bill Foster, and they considered it to be, I guess, malfunctioning of some sort. And so Reed Richards actually takes the time to reprogram it, at which point it begins to function the way it's supposed to. But that's basically what the Ragnarok character is. Again, he's pretty straightforward, and he's really not that significant. He's really just kind of an interesting concept.
So
but anyways, I hope this video made sense to you guys. If it did, let me know. If it didn't, then I'll do my best to explain a little bit further down in the comment section.
So yeah, as you can see.
But yeah.
As you can see, there's like so much more interesting things you could have done with that. Like you could have used that as a means of like reviving the villains. Like because Asgard is destroyed. In fact, you could have actually used Ragnarok as a means of like bringing in something called the Tree of Eternity. You know, be able to go into that. Be able to go into like how Odin got his powers and abilities. You know, that kind of stuff. Why he's so powerful, despite his age. So, hold on for a second. Alright, had to go ahead and fix that. Anyways, but yeah, as you can see here, I'm not the biggest fan of Ragnarok. Really not. And I hope you can understand why now. I'm not the biggest fan of the Thor Ragnarok movie, I mean, so I'm a bigger fan of the other one, so yeah. Anyways, what are my thoughts on Loki and where that's going? Well, honestly, I'm not too sure where they're going to be going with that after this. I did like what they did with Sophie. However, I'm not exactly a big fan of, like, how she sort of is, quote unquote, given the fact that her actions cause the death of everyone in the multiverse now, given the fact that we now have Kang, and like clearly there's gonna be like some shit going on with that is gonna have to be dealt with. So, and like not a big fan of how that went down, but hey, I can understand the reaction. Really, doesn't mean I like it, doesn't mean I condone it. I can understand it though. Which is like, why is it that people keep trying to say that, oh my god, this character causes the death of everyone, oh my god, she's like so horrible because of it. It's like, Well, consider the circumstances under which she's in there. Like, I get that it's like horrible and she should be condemned for it, but it's like you can gotta understand the situation that she's in. If you were in the same situation with the same history that she has, like, would you have done any different? I don't think anyone would have. I don't think you would have. I mean, it's not that really hard to imagine having to do something like, I mean, to do these kinds of things which are either fairly heinous to some degree, or like might have heinous consequences because you're like driven by bloodlust and revenge. People do stupid shit when they do that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not like Sylvie hasn't really been shown to be like single-minded throughout the entirety of the series. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's like in keeping with their character. And I know you're saying that, but their character's awful. Yeah, okay, I get
So what'd
that,
you
but I
find
don't
out?
really care, like, because you're not really adding anything to the discussion of what she went through, of what's like going on there, how we should like take all of this. Like, yeah, she's an awful person, and what else? What else am I getting out of that? Am I getting anything out of it by acknowledging it? No, I'm not. So why should I acknowledge it when I'm not getting anything out of it? And when it's fairly observant as how awful it is.
See you next, where's I see you.
Like, it's so observant, I don't think you really need to say anything. But I don't know, I guess you think everyone's a moron. I guess you think everyone's like an unintelligent blab. Which kind of tells me why it is you have a kind of a problem. I mean, I don't know. I just think that it's better to just take a movie on its own rather than just moralize about it. But that's just me, you know? I'd rather, like, just take a movie for as it is, analyze why the characters sort of did what they did, and think about, like, okay, would I have done anything differently? Probably not. Like, do I like what was done? Nah. Does it excuse any of it? No, no one's saying any of that. So, yeah. Anyways, I guess we just gotta wait for results of what's going to happen with regards to the multiverse now. See where it's all leading. Right now we can't really say anything beyond that fact that whether or not the show will be blown at in regards to like Hawkeye episode, okay. I thought the show was pretty good. I thought it was relatively fine. All things considered. There wasn't anything too egregious about it, and wasn't anything that I wouldn't have particularly have done. It's like, I mean, there's not really much to talk about in this sense because there's really like nothing offensive that they really did at all. Some people say that, oh my God, they took out. Kate took out the Kingpin. It's like, Yeah, she took out the Kingpin with a bunch of, like, trick arrows that blew up in his fucking face. Like, I think that's a fair thing to happen. If that's going to happen, I think it's, like, something that should probably be okay. It's like, what's wrong with that? Like, yeah, it's kind of cartoony, and I get it, but the entire idea of what sort of Hawkeye can do is pretty cartoony in a sense. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, you can call it skill all you fucking want, but it's like, some of the shit that he does is like absolutely fucking unbelievable. Some of the shots that he takes, some of the stuff that he does, like, what the fuck? No one is that fucking good. God damn it. Fucking Christ.
Hang on!
There we go.
All set!
God damn it. Fucking Christ. Fucking Christ, man. God damn it, fucking Christ. I'm trying to bring up the...
I'm coming to you!
I'm trying to bring up my fucking shield and it's not letting me. Fucking Christ.
We are done here.
You don't look so great! Look at all this old stuff.
If it is not useful, leave it alone.
do the left one. There we go. Okay. So before we go there, I'm going to go ahead and... Okay. Just make it to the timing right there, I guess.
Let's get you squared away then. Suit yourself.
There we go. Okay, why didn't why is it so hard to find? There we go. So yeah. One of the other things that I find very interesting, by the way, this is the last thing I'll say about the MCU, though, is what they're doing so far with Iron Man. What I've heard, this is a rumor that, like, you know, Comics Explained sort of brought up here. One of the things that I find very interesting is that, like, apparently they might end up bringing back Iron Man, but in some other actor. That'd be interesting if they do that. So, yeah. And they did do that. Well, that would be great, honestly.
Oh, there it goes again.
So, you know. But, yeah. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about Total War for a second. For those of you who don't know, I've actually been into... Oh, hold on for a second. Looks like my thing is fairly on par with the volume here. Let me go ahead and up that a bit here. Might be hearing a little bit background buzz there. But, yeah, okay. Hopefully I'm a little bit louder than what we're having on here. Anyways, so with regards to, like, Total War and whatnot, I think it's pretty safe to say that, like, I am a huge Total War fan. Like, in terms of Warhammer anyways. I played some of the other games, not too much of them. Like, Troy I kind of liked, but beyond that, not too much with the other ones. I will definitely try some of the other ones whenever I get the chance to like mod some of them, because some of the mods look really great. I want to try them at some point in time. But yeah, I'm gonna be playing Warhammer 3 when it comes out. And we're gonna be doing all day streams of that shit. We're gonna be playing that shit all fucking day when I stream. So, and we're gonna be doing it, by the way, in the order of Damon Chaos, Kislev, Cathay, Nurgle, Korn, Zinj, and of course Slanesh. And then, of course, we're gonna see about doing it with Boris. And then we'll see if there's any other, like, lords that we can do it with. Like, you know, anyone else. And by that time, of course, I think we'll probably have SFO to check out. And a lot more mods to sort of install on while we're doing it. So, yeah. Honestly, I cannot wait until they start adding shit like Chaos Dwarves and start adding stuff like more stuff for the electric counts. They're gonna add more stuff for the dwarves. They're gonna add stuff for Norska. There's just so much stuff to add. They also got more stuff for the daemons. Oh my god, so much stuff for the daemons. It's so fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. They haven't even gotten them all yet. Like, there's just so much to do, and they can invent even more if they wanted to as well. Like, they pretty much, they probably have the go-ahead from CA at this point with fantasy, so yeah.
It fits. That's perfect. Look.
Yeah. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna actually pause the stream for a second. So adorable. Okay, come on. Oh, now he knows I'm recording. Now he doesn't want me to be on here. Oh, wait. That's right. Oh, damn. I was trying to move the thing up to the side and I didn't realize it was already there. So, oh. Probably because I was holding him up. Let's see here.
Here we go. Do you think this goes all the way to the top?
We will see soon enough.
Something feels strange up there. We're heading into danger.
Do not concern yourself with what might be. Focus on what is, and be vigilant.
Yes, sir. Not the top, but we're closer. Wait, that one's not broken. There's a note. A giant's prayer. They're asking their ancestors to watch over them, to guide them home.
Boy.
Wait. I think I know how it works. Watch. Wow.
did you write?
I asked them to watch over Mother. Do you think they'll watch over us on the way to the top?
Come, boy. It is a long way up.
So.
Stay back.
Yeah, stay back, fucking Trey. Shit, I'm not even there yet. Anyways, yeah. Like I said, I'm a really big Total War Warhammer fan. Oh, hold on for a second. My bad. Get to take this off. Sorry about that. Sorry about that crappy fucking frame rates there. One of the things I really like about it is not only the battles you can maintain, but also the way in which the campaign is set up. Too bad in the Warhammer campaign, in Lustria and, you know, places like Araby and the desert near the Tomb Kings and whatnot, it's all that well off to actual, like, fight in those places.
Tunnel boy.
If I'm being perfectly honest, because, like, I always kind of wanted to avoid fighting in the map, but it looks like that they fixed that problem.
These tunnels around the giant's traps. Good thing too. Good for me.
And I say that primarily because, well, I really like what I'm seeing here. With regards to all the battles, all the fights I'm seeing, how the composition is made up, the campaign mechanics, really look like they're probably going to be doing well.
That is not helping.
See you on the other side.
That was kind of a pain in the ass, honestly. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing the game for quite some time, and then after that, we'll probably jump back into this once I'm done. So, and then we'll return every single time there's like a new race on there, and like if like SFO is adding new stuff, obviously if there's like a really new cool mechanic I want to show off, you know, something like that, it would be pretty interesting to see. You know, and I gotta say, my mod lists are pretty extensive, and I don't normally like pull them off or put them forth, unless there's like, unless I have like a mod list that can play me all the way through. So, which isn't always the case normally. So. I do kind of wonder how they're going to do the Mortal Empires map. That is something I'm curious about.
How How do we make it go? Maybe we're too heavy? That did it. Alright, we're moving again. Hey, when we get to the summit, how far do you think we'll be able to see? The lake? The world serpent? Our house?
We will see when we get there. Until then, eyes open.
Whoa!
Atreus!
I'm fine. Just lost my balance for a moment. You know, for someone so strong, you sure worry a lot.
It serves me well, and how I keep us alive.
Well, let's see how much time has passed so far real quick. I'm curious here. I think about maybe like an hour and a half, maybe. I'm not too sure. Like 2 hours and a half. Hold on. Oh wow! So far it's been about 3 hours. Okay, so after this thing gets to the top here, or gets to where it needs to go, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Okay, how's that sound?
I guess. Not a terribly fun way to live, though.
Adequate. How was that for fun?
I get it. I should worry more. Is this where we get off?
No, we are stuck.
I guess I could go in and end it right here.
I think part of the lift is stuck in that wall. Can you...
Yeah, might as well go and end it right here. We'll go and continue tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that instead of playing like Horizon Zero Dawn, because I want to get through this like pretty as much as possible, and I doubt I'm going to be getting through Horizon Zero Dawn and this as soon as possible if I just like, you know, just do this. So, anyways, continue this tomorrow. Have a nice day. Subscribe if you like. Like it. Click the thumbs up button. Click the thumbs down button if you didn't like it. Leave some constructive criticism. Leave a comment too, and let me know if you let me know if you drop on by after all.